gotta get my beverages on because here goes the rant. So if you watched my last video, that is my review of Captain Marvel. That one's spoiler free. This is spoilers. I'm talking about the best and worst of this movie, mainly almost all the worst. I'm gonna talk about how this affects the other movies and kind of all that. I'm gonna try and keep it brief, but we'll see. So I want to start off by talking about how ridiculous it is that people are saying this is a good Marvel movie. You don't have to like a movie because of the agenda. You don't. I'm a Christian, and I hate with a passion Christian movies. I think they're terrible. They aren't art at all. They're just preachy. They don't know what they're doing. And so I'm not going to sit here and go, but the story they're getting across is good. It doesn't matter. The movie sucks. That's my approach to everything. Is the movie good, first off? And if it is, then we can talk about it. If it's not, then you don't deserve to be in the discussion. So I wrote down my list of what I thought of. I listed all the Marvel movies right here. Now this is Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is not Deadpool, Logan, any of those. This is Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm gonna go through the phases and we're just gonna talk about kind of where I think it fits in. So phase 1, best to worst. There's 6 movies. I think Iron Man was the best, The Avengers, Thor, Captain America, the first Avenger, Iron Man 2, and then The Incredible Hulk. That's where I think those land. Phase 2, we have Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Iron Man 3, Thor 2. And then phase 3, we have, this is best to worst, Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, Black Panther, Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Ant-Man and Wasp. If you noticed, I have Captain Marvel at number 7 on just the phase 3 Marvel movies. This could be a whole discussion about which Marvel movies are best or not. I think it's safe to say, I have it listed at number 13, best, out of 21. So it's below half. I think there's some crappy Marvel movies out there. I'll tell you the ones that are below it. I think that Thor 2 is the worst one. I think The Incredible Hulk is next. I think Ant-Man and Wasp, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Ant-Man, Iron Man 2, Age of Ultron, then Captain Marvel. I think those are the only movies that are worse than Captain Marvel. Let me tell you why. Captain Marvel struggles from, first off, having no idea what it is. It's trying to be this female superhero empowerment movie, but they don't know how to do it. And we know how bad Disney is at this. Did you see The Last Jedi and Force Awakens? Yeah, look at the character arc of Rey. She starts here. She's already good at like everything when we meet her. She's a pilot. She's all that stuff. And by the end, she's great. There is no point in that movie when she falters in her power. Okay. They don't know how to use her as a character. They don't know how to write a female character. Actually, they don't know how to write most characters in general, but especially female characters. Now, the reason for this is a lot of it because at this point, we're so scared to make a female character have issues or have struggles or not be good at something because then it comes across as, oh, she's not good enough. And that's not true, okay? We don't, and I say we meaning viewers, okay? People that understand what makes good character arcs and what makes cinema. We like characters that struggle. Look at Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back. That whole movie is him struggling. He's training, he thinks he's good enough, he goes, he loses an arm, finds out who his dad is, and he's completely obliterated by the end of that movie. He's a nobody. He just realizes that he is playing with things he doesn't understand. Then the whole third movie is him going through more training and overcoming that struggle. Captain Marvel's struggle was, your dad said you couldn't do it, and you did it. That's it. She didn't actually fail at anything. Like, they show her falling down, and like, that's her struggle, is not being great at everything right away. But like, she didn't attempt something, fail, and have to overcome. Her fail was, oh, we're going to show a flashback of her hanging on a rope. She falls and gets up. That's it. What? Like, come on, give me more than that. Even Captain America, the First Avenger, which I do not think is a very good movie. I think it's meh. Especially, it's like middle of the road for Marvel movies. I think it's pretty poor for most movies. He goes through his whole thing. He's a wimpy kid. He goes through all this. And then he gets this newfound power. And then he's still struggling because they keep doing things to him that keep him from becoming Captain America, right? Captain Marvel is like, okay, so they put a little chip in her thing and that keeps her from using all her superpower, but she's already like more powerful than anyone with that chip. They keep trying to say that she's went through the struggle and that she didn't. She's not a good character. Give her an arc. Make her not the most powerful Avenger when she's done. Like, the end of this movie, she's more powerful than anyone except for maybe Thor. Now, I think Thor is a way better character in every way, including him having to sacrifice himself to create his new weapon to beat Thanos. Like, he takes the power of the sun. Like, that moment was one of the best moments in all the Marvel movies because he's willing to sacrifice it, and you know he's going to get through it, but that's not the point. The point is he still went through the struggle, and he had to go through and physically take in that much to be able to get the hammer. We've had 6 or 7 or however many movies with Thor building up to that moment. That was a lot of character build through all the movies. And, I mean, obviously, like, Dark World, and there's problems with Thor movies. But his character has been doing this through all of them, and then finally he gets all that power and still doesn't beat Thanos. Freaking Captain Marvel doesn't do anything wrong. And he's just like, oh, okay, oh, you have those things on your hands, and she still beats them? Like, what is the struggle here? Like, she can beat all of them in no time, and it's no fun. Okay, enough of that. Let me move on to other problems with the movie. One of my biggest issues is, did we not all think that Jude Law was the bad guy all along? I thought the trailers told us that he was a bad guy. They might not have, but from the second I saw him, I was like, oh, he's the bad guy. So this whole time when the twist happens and he's the bad guy, I was like, yeah, okay. But no, I didn't see the Skrulls being good guys. That was cool. Unfortunately, the second they become good guys, it takes about 2 seconds for everybody to just believe them and be on their side. And you're like, wait, these are master manipulators. These are guys that their entire life has been changing into people and tricking you, and now they tell you this and give this much reason for it, and you're just supposed to believe them. Including the lady who doesn't even know that monsters exist is letting them play with her kid like 3 seconds later. Like, that whole thing is just bad, okay? I didn't for once feel like Captain Marvel was in any danger, or any of her friends were in any danger. And then in probably the dumbest piece of dialogue I've ever heard, she's trying to convince her friend to go fly up with her and pretty much go on a suicide mission. The lady's like, no, I'm a mom, I can't, I gotta stay here. And she goes, and then her daughter says, you want to be a good example for me, so go. I'm like, what kind of garbage is this, that sending someone away from their family when they didn't need to? Okay, I'm pretty sure she could have just piloted the plane herself. That's just completely a lie, and that's where I really got mad at this movie. I was like, whoa, you're telling me that her raising her daughter is less important than helping her friend? No, your family's the most important, especially when your daughter knows that you're going up there to do that. Like, you can't go commit suicide, which is what they thought it was going to be. They mentioned that movie, like, pretty much you're not going to come back. Her daughter's like, you need to go, and it's like, no. If she had said no, my calling is to stay here and protect my daughter. Oh, what a great moment. That would have been such a powerful moment for, like, a character. But no. Cop out. Cheesy. And then, boy, some of these... The more I think about this movie, the more it upsets me. Because I was trying to watch it with the... I'm going to just watch this movie and enjoy it. And I think anybody who says you got to go in without a bias is an idiot. Okay? The only movies I don't see with a biased opinion is ones I have this much idea of what they're about. Okay? This is a Marvel movie. They've been pushing all these things in their marketing, so I'm going in with a biased view. Whether it's good bias or bad bias, there's no such thing as good or bad, I don't think, in this scenario. Because they're pushing one thing, and if I'm totally buying into their thing, I'm disappointed. If I'm going against their thing, I'm still disappointed because the movie sucks. So I'm going with the bias of, this is a $150 million Marvel movie with big talent. We know all these actors can act. I expect better, and I didn't get any of it. I think that Goose the cat, what? Okay, he was funny and enjoyable for a little bit. Him cutting out Nick Fury's eye is a blatant middle finger to the character of Nick Fury. Because in Winter Soldier, he says, the last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye. And it was a big deal. And they make a joke out of it. And it's like, what? One of the last things I'm going to talk about is how Captain Marvel got her power. Now, a lot of these superheroes get their powers in ways that some of them are good, some of them are bad, okay? Let's go through a couple of them. Iron Man, he built his own power. He is, like, his mind, he created these things like Batman, became Great. Sort of like that. Captain America gets a serum, or whatever they inject into him becomes powerful. Okay. Thor, he is a Norse god. Okay. We have other mutants, like, I say mutants because I'm not sure what they are, like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver and some of those. Nobody has gotten their power that I can remember, maybe I might be wrong, so let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong about this, has gotten their power in such a ridiculously stupid way as I was near something when it blew up and therefore I absorbed their power. That is something you get in Spider-Man 3 with Sandman. What kind of terrible origin is that to how she gets her power? Oh, I'm near the Tesseract, it explodes and I absorb the power? Huh? People hold the Tesseract. Like, and I know it's like the engine, it's not actually the Tesseract, but whatever. The thought is kind of the same. How did she got her power was dumb. I didn't buy it. I didn't care about it. And it just like, it's very vague. It's not explained well, and that's because they don't know a way to explain it. They're like, we gotta give her like ultimate power, but how? Okay, let's use the Tesseract, which then this movie also throws off the complete timeline of all the other movies. You're telling me that Nick Fury decided that only after Thanos snapped was it time to call her? What about all the other times the world's been in danger? And what has she been doing? It doesn't make sense. And that's why I think the timing of this just doesn't work out. They needed to find a way, and this is lazy writing because you know that there are writers good enough to make this work. Write it in a way that she had to be gone for a certain amount of time. Or something. Or whatever. But instead it's just like, oh, now it's bad enough. Now that Thanos is here. It's like, what? Plus the Tesseract, like how did they get a hold of that? Because Stark had it. And I'm not really computing with how this all worked out. Let me know in the comments below if I'm being an idiot and just not remembering, but I probably would figure this out if I went back and rewatched the first Avenger again, but I don't watch Captain America again because it wasn't a good movie. Yeah, that's kind of my spoiler talk. When people talk about this movie, I mentioned which ones I think were worse than Captain America. I think that it struggles from a Guardians of the Galaxy 2 problem, which is we're gonna now just rely on the nostalgia to carry the movie. What's up with the nostalgia these days? Stranger Things, everybody's like, it's such a great show. I'm like, take the nostalgia out of that show, and is it any good? Not really. It's fine. You take the nostalgia out of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, you still have awesomeness because you have good actors, good action, good story, and the nostalgia is actually just a minor part. It's just the music. That's mainly the only nostalgia. This movie is relying heavily on nostalgia, and it doesn't quite work because it's like, all right, okay, 90s, blockbuster, okay, now what? Give me a story, and there's just no story. So I think that overall, Captain Marvel is a forgettable movie. Their next installment of Captain Marvel will be good. I think Captain Marvel 2 is going to be a great movie because they're going to realize what they did do and didn't do and all that. But their big problem is that they were touting this as the first female lead Marvel movie or whatever. And it's like, that is not a good enough reason to make her be this good. Just doesn't quite work out. So I hope that this kind of cleared some things up. I like just ranting, if you haven't noticed. So I enjoyed doing this. What did you think of Captain Marvel? Where do you think it lands? So I think it's just slightly below the first Avenger. But like I said, a first Avenger actually had an origin story. And I cared about what was going on. I don't care about anything with Carol Danvers. I don't buy into the fact, and her not having a family is a big part of it. She has nobody to connect with, her best friend, but it's like, but we don't connect with the best friend because we don't understand that connection as much as we understand a family connection. And they use that as like, her dad was mean to her, but it's like, where's the rest of her family? Like, it doesn't make sense. Whereas Captain America, like, there's this whole thing, and they carry it through multiple movies of him being in love with, can't remember her name, but that's a thing that when he does the time jump and doesn't age, and she's old, it's like you care. You don't care about what happens to Carol Danvers. You just don't. So that's kind of what I got. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. What other movies you want me to do? Thank you for sticking around and watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, let me know what you want next, and I'm looking forward to Avengers Endgame. I might do a trailer review. That'll probably be my next thing. All right, later.